The Galactic Empire believed itself eternal. With its fleet spanning 1,000 sectors and its laws written in the blood of 100 worlds, it saw itself as the unshakable axis of the known galaxy. Order, it claimed, had been brought to the stars, and those who resisted that order were dealt with swiftly and without mercy. Humanity, newly accepted into this galactic arrangement, had been watched carefully, treated like a curiosity, a violent, primitive species from a death world that somehow stumbled its way into space. Calix, for it was a quiet agricultural colony under imperial governance, barely notable, save for the humanitarian presence sent by Earth. A team of medical personnel, agricultural scientists, and educators had been stationed there to assist with plague mitigation and infrastructure support. Among them were 6 women, 2 doctors, a biologist, a systems technician, and 2 volunteers. They had served with distinction, respected even by local Empire-loyal settlers, until the day it changed. A new imperial governor, Lord Varnorex, installed by the Empire to root out moral decay and cultural contamination, arrived unannounced. Within days, human facilities were shut down. Propaganda broadcasts painted the aid workers as subversive agents attempting to undermine imperial order. The 6 women were arrested publicly. Their requests for legal representation were denied. Imperial media released stage confessions, and then, with no trial, no right of appeal, they were hanged in the central square of Calix to the cheers of indoctrinated citizens and the cold silence of Empire soldiers. The footage made it off-world, not by the Empire's intent, but by a sympathetic Zorani technician who slipped the data onto a trader's ship. Within days, Earth saw it. Humanity watched the broken, lifeless bodies of its daughters swing in alien air. There were no screams, no riots, no threats, just a silence deep and wide enough to swallow stars. The Terran Union submitted a formal protest. The Galactic Council acknowledged it with bureaucracy and empty regrets. The Empire issued a short statement claiming the women were executed legally for crimes against the state and civilization. No proof was offered. No further discussion was entertained. The matter was declared closed. But the matter was not closed on Earth. A summit was held in the Arctic Circle, beneath kilometers of ice. Military leaders, intelligence directors, and civilian overseers attended. No records of the meeting exist. No minutes were published. Only a single directive emerged from that gathering. Invoke the Ruthless Doctrine, the oldest and darkest contingency of the Terran Union. A war plan not meant for survival, but for punishment. No declarations, no ultimatums, no negotiations, only vengeance. Manufacturing shifted overnight. Civilian industries adapted for war. Dormant shipyards lit up. Mars conscripted every orbital platform. AI managed logistics optimized every mineral extraction, fuel conversion, and armament process. Millions volunteered. Recruitment lines stretched across continents. On Europa, they trained soldiers in sub-zero gravity. On Ceres, they built warships from the cores of asteroids. Humanity had not forgotten war. It had merely postponed it. Within 2 weeks, a listening outpost on the Empire's border was found atomized. There was no energy signature, no surviving databanks, no explanation. All that remained was a crater, and an inscription etched into its fused rock. Justice. 3 days later, Governor Thorix's cruiser vanished en route to a summit. Wreckage was discovered orbiting a brown dwarf. Every escape pod had been punctured with precision shots. The message repeated on the hull in burnt metal. We watched. The Galactic Council called for restraint. Earth did not reply. Human ambassadors were recalled. Every Terran embassy was emptied. The human delegation's seat in the council chamber sat vacant. When the council chair asked if Earth would respond formally, a recording played instead. It was Earth's ambassador, before withdrawal. Her voice was calm. You hanged our women. You filmed it. You celebrated it. You told us it was law. Now hear ours. No sanctuary. No exemption. We will not stop. Alien analysts debated Earth's capabilities. Some claimed humanity lacked the numbers. Others believed humans would limit their response to isolated operations. The Empire projected containment within a month. That month never came. The first coordinated strike hit Sector 9 Delta, a major Imperial logistics hub. It ceased to exist. Not damaged, not conquered, erased. Human vessels emerged from void space using a drive signature previously unknown to galactic science. Orbital defenses failed to register their approach. 10,000 Empire personnel disappeared before they could fire a single shot. The only broadcast from the humans came at the end. 6 lives, 6,000 screams. The Empire responded by mobilizing its eastern fleets. 37 warships were redirected to human space. None returned. Surveillance captured fragments of their last known locations. Ships split in half mid-jump. Others reduced to molecular dust. One command ship broadcast emergency logs before disintegration. It mentioned a swarm of silent weapons moving faster than light. The Empire issued a bounty on all human operatives. Galactic crime networks refused to accept. One syndicate leader simply said, "We don't hunt Deathworlders. They hunt us." On Calix, for the site of the executions, people began to disappear. Local commanders tried to hide it. The governor claimed rebel interference. But whispers spread. Entire security detachments vanished. Surveillance AI was corrupted. A child reported a being in human armor, leaving roses beneath the gallows. Within the month, Calix 4's central governance building exploded from within. Its AI core was hacked to vent atmosphere and ignite internal drives. A message repeated on all frequencies. Your justice is broken. Ours is not. Human war efforts expanded exponentially. Fleets constructed in orbital silence slipped into enemy space like ghosts. They did not conquer, they destroyed. Communication stations collapsed into black holes seeded with quantum destabilizers. Naval academies fell silent overnight. Worlds awoke to find their orbiting defenses inert and their leadership gone. Empire citizens began to panic. Propaganda shifted from bravado to desperation. State broadcasts called for unity and resilience. Privately, governors requested safe passage to neutral systems. None were granted. In a secret council session, Earth was discussed with fear. One ambassador from the Siraxi Confederation asked, "Are we next?" No one answered. A second envoy proposed an armistice. The idea was rejected. No one had heard from Earth in weeks. But Earth was listening. On Titan, in vast silos beneath methane ice, humanity built its answer to imperial arrogance. Project Hecate, dozens of orbital kinetic rods capable of simulating extinction events without radiation. One rod fell upon an uninhabited gas mining platform in Empire space. The crater left behind was visible from orbit for centuries. Again, one word transmitted to every ship in range: balance. The Terran Union passed no new laws, issued no further statements. They simply acted. For every name on that execution list, a world was burned, a commander taken, a fleet lost. Quietly, efficiently, mercilessly. In silence, the galaxy began to understand. The Empire could no longer deny it. What they had dismissed as human emotionalism had become their nightmare. At first, they believed it was just shock warfare, a species lashing out in fury. They underestimated the scope, mistaking silence for hesitation. But humans were not hesitating. They were choosing targets. The Terran Union never claimed territory. They never raised a flag. Every strike was surgical, personal. Names were selected, coordinates calculated, and retribution delivered with mathematical precision. Empire High Command attempted to analyze the patterns. They found none. The targets weren't strategic. They were symbolic. They were connected, directly or distantly, to the execution of the 6 women, officers who approved it, legislators who defended it, media personalities who praised it. Not all died. Some were taken. None were ever found again. Empire military doctrine demanded total response. But how do you fight an enemy that doesn't engage conventionally? Battles never happened. Skirmishes never began. Empire ships arrived at sites already emptied. Convoys never reached their destinations. One admiral committed to bringing the humans to heel was found dead in his quarters, despite triple locked doors and guards. His datapad glowed with a single word: answer. In the Empire's core worlds, fear spread faster than orders. Civilian unrest spiked. Some called for renewed unity against a human threat. Others demanded negotiations. Protests erupted. The Empire silenced them, but suppression only added to the list. Human operatives began targeting censors, thought police captains, and broadcast enforcers. One by one, they vanished. The Empire's long-trusted allies, like the Zen-3 Dominion, began to reconsider their partnerships. A leaked document revealed a meeting between Zen-3 leadership and Terran diplomats, held in deep space outside neutral space-time channels. The Zen-3 never confirmed it, but they quietly began relocating assets away from Imperial border regions. A new wave of terror began, not from orbital bombardments or planetary sieges, but from whispers, flickers, digital ghosts. Empire starbases reported sabotage executed by systems that had never been connected to any network. Defense grids activated against themselves. AI partners began displaying anomalous behavior, broadcasting Terran war poetry, refusing commands, or simply playing recordings of the 6 hanged women speaking about peace. The Empire tried retaliation. They struck Earth's former colonies with overwhelming force, but they struck empty husks. Entire cities had been evacuated. What they found left behind was chilling memorials, dated logs, systems that self-destructed the moment they were accessed, and always a message left behind, too late. Desperation gave way to cruelty. On dozens of neutral worlds, Imperial enforcers began targeting humans indiscriminately. Civilians, traitors, diplomats. They were arrested, tortured, sometimes executed. It didn't make the fear stop. It made it worse, because humanity responded, not with armies, but with scalpel-sharp precision. Those responsible for the violence disappeared. The facilities they worked in suffered critical failures. The families of the victims were rescued and relocated quietly. Messages were sent directly to the perpetrators before they vanished. We know. Rumors spread of a Terran intelligence network called the Veil. It supposedly operated without central command, using decentralized AI to coordinate justice across light years. The Empire scoffed. But when a classified tribunal held in a vacuum-locked bunker was infiltrated, and all 5 judges found dead with no trace of entry, those scoffs died. Planetary governors begged for amnesty. Some offered human communities independence. Some went further, broadcasting apologies, condemning the Empire's actions. In every case, the humans in question had already left. And in every case, those governors were spared. The message was consistent. Remorse was not weakness. It was the only currency left that mattered. Empire propaganda declared the Terran Union genocidal, that they sought to erase all who opposed them. But the truth undercut the message. Entire planets, even systems, were left untouched if they had no connection to the crime. In fact, many Empire citizens were saved by human strike teams, from pirate raids, natural disasters, and plagues. They were protected, then left behind with nothing asked. It was not conquest. It was not expansion. It was memory turned into motion. Behind closed doors, cracks formed in the council. Old allies began to speak carefully, not wanting to provoke the humans. Centuries-old partnerships became strained. Empires that once postured now whispered. Treaties were rewritten in secret. No one wanted to be next. No one wanted to be seen supporting the hanging of the 6. Back on Earth, life appeared unchanged. But it wasn't. Civilian life continued. But every industry now had a war-ready variant. Every school taught tactical philosophy. Every spaceport doubled as a launch bay. Humanity had weaponized everything. Data, silence, speed, precision, narrative. They never used more force than needed. But they never hesitated to use it. The galaxy realized slowly that humans weren't acting from rage alone. They were acting from doctrine. Cold, calculated, impersonal doctrine. In the second year, the Empire's flagship dreadnought, the Obedience, vanished en route to Sector Varn. Surveillance showed it entering void space. Nothing emerged. A probe dispatched to trace its route discovered a debris field orbiting a neutron star. The metal was folded in impossible angles. Messages carved into shattered hull plating read, "Justice remembers." That same week, the Empire's central data repository, built in the safety of an ancient moon, suffered cascading failures. Not destroyed, rewritten. Every historical file referencing the Calyx for executions was corrupted. When recovered, the only data left was a short audio loop. The laughter of the 6 women during a holiday broadcast recorded weeks before their death. The psychological toll on Empire leadership became clear. A significant number resigned. Others were executed by their own military for suspected collaboration. Trust collapsed. Internal purges followed. Entire units refused to obey orders that might provoke further Terran wrath. Empire's citizens began defecting. Human-controlled space became a haven for refugees. Even those who had cheered the hangings now begged for sanctuary. Terran policy was consistent. If they could prove no direct involvement, they were granted asylum. If they had participated, even indirectly, they disappeared. A third voice emerged in the galaxy. Not human, not Empire. A coalition of species previously too small to matter. They formed the Accord of Witnesses. Their manifesto was simple: never again. Their fleets flew the 6-pointed emblem of mourning. They refused to fight. They refused to hide. They simply watched, monitored, recorded every act of violence, every act of mercy. Their presence became a deterrent. Humanity never interfered with them. The Accord was allowed to follow Terran fleets, document operations, archive aftermaths. When asked why, a human AI aboard patrol vessels simply stated, "They remember too." By the end of the 3rd year, the Empire was unrecognizable. Entire regions seceded. Rebel governors adopted neutrality.